The clip being scrutinized today is the intellectual property of the Young Turks and Anna Kasparian. The views of the commentator are the intellectual property of the Laughing Ogre and are no way meant to reflect the views or ideas of any sane human being. Now we have a treat because the Laughing Ogre tears up Anna Kasparian. Enjoy. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for coming back by and looking at the Laughing Ogre once again. Yesterday, I tried a new experiment, and it worked fairly well. Just what happened is I believed that I found someone that would have differing opinions of mine. And I wasn't so much cherry picking. I was cherry picking. I don't want to make excuses. But to a different degree, I think, than what most people are used to when it comes to cherry picking. Excuse me, let me just adjust my lighting a wee bit here. Very technical is my studio. Very state-of-the-art. No, that's just like an LED light in a aluminum. It doesn't matter. So anyway, I was trying to find someone with a differing opinion, and I was going to play the video and comment on that video while it was being played. But we have somebody here that we're all going to recognize right here. This horrific person. Some people say she's beautiful. Mrs. Ogre and I agree. She's a hook-nosed, evil-looking, anorexic, fat-shaming, gnarly, hypocritical piece of work is Mrs. Kasparian. And so I'm doing the same thing with this. I'm going to let her speak, and you can see up here it says, a brutal reality of U.S. healthcare. Well, I have my own opinions. I can almost guarantee I have not hit play on this. I've seen it, I pulled it up, I've not listened to 1 second. You can see that the seconds down here, they sit at 0 right here. I've not looked at anything on this. I've not done any prep. But I can almost guarantee you that the young turds are going to do what they always do. They're going to give you some anecdotal evidence, and they're going to play to your emotions. They want you to be emotional about this thing, and they're going to do their best to get you to go along, because if you don't, you're a bad person. Because let's face it, Mrs. Kasparian is better than you, and that's according to her. So let's hear what this evil Armenian genocide apologist and denier has to say. And I think she's Armenian. It's horrible. I'm Jewish, and this would be her working for Eat Everything in the Kitchen Sink Jägermeister. This horrible, nasty ogre of a person. I can't even call her an ogre. I'm an ogre. This horrible, nasty cretin works for this person. Would be like me as a Jew going to work for Adolf Hitler. You know, it's terrible. So let's hear what she has to say.
A college student who accidentally cut his finger on a knife while he was doing his dishes did what a lot of Americans do.
I told you right off the bat, it's going to be anecdotal. It's playing to your emotions. As this plays, I want you to ask yourself, do you want to pay for my beer? Okay? If you want to pay for my beer, leave it in the description, your name, whatever, how I can contact you. I'll contact you. I'll give you my P.O. box, and you can send me, I drink around $200 worth of beer a month. You can send me that check made out to the first name, middle name Laughing, last name Ogre, and I'll cash them, and you can pay for my beer. Do you want to pay for other people's health care? Should you not be allowed to just pay for your own? But let's listen to this anecdotal evidence.
He went to the emergency room to ensure that he got the appropriate care so he wouldn't get an infection. Well, Matt Anderson, who's only 19 years old, was hit with a gigantic emergency room bill months.
All emergency room bills are gigantic. I myself, when I was young, before I got my act together, I went to the emergency room 3 times. One time, I was only 16, but I'd left home, and thankfully, that bill did get taken care of through my Mr. Father Ogre's health care insurance that was good at the time through General Motors. But I've had 2 other ones that there was no help, had to pay for. Before I had insurance, I went and they thought it was something else, and they checked my heart, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with it, but it was $20,000, and thankfully for me, because I didn't give up and I talked to people, and the hospital forgave their 10 grand, and I'm just going to say his name. Good luck finding out which Dr. Lee, but Dr. Lee waived the bill and did all of the work. One of the best heart surgeons in the United States did all of the work for nothing. So there's ways around it, and this person's irresponsible for going to the emergency room for cutting himself with a knife. Why didn't they go to a clinic? It's not an emergency. They went and they used an emergency room for something that doesn't sound like an emergency.
Later, to the tune of $2,782.
Ooh.
Why was it so expensive?
Why?
Now,
Because
Anderson
it's expensive.
estimates he got to
Does anybody out there know how much it costs to go to med school? Give me a break. It's expensive because, or as my wife did, go to school to be a respiratory therapist. It's extremely expensive. Just like drug research. Why? Because of all the regulations. If Trump does what he wants to do, does away with the regulations, everything will go down in price because you won't have a government agency snatching and grabbing and taking what's yours to do the right thing with it.
the emergency room around 11 p.m. A nurse saw him shortly after midnight and cleaned his wound. A doctor came by a little later to apply liquid stitches to his finger. Anderson went home around 1 a.m. Well, it turns out that...
Yeah, and like I said, all of that could have been done in a clinic for, I'm guessing, around $80 plus the price of... It would have cost him a tenth of this. He might have come out of there with $200. What a moron. So I'm supposed to pay because this person's an idiot and deserves a Darwin Award.
That since he went in late into the night and that led to him staying to the next day, he got charged for 2 days as opposed to 1 day, okay? He said, I saw a nurse for maybe 5 to 10 minutes and a doctor for maybe 5 minutes tops.
Oh yeah, but you saw them and you decided to go the dumbest route on earth. Let's see if they point out the fact that he could have went to a ReadyMed, a clinic on the corner.
Okay, so because the clock ticked past midnight as Anderson waited to see a doctor, Tri-County emergency physicians billed his insurance for 2 days rather than 1. The rest of the bill came from Chestnut Hill Hospital, which owns the emergency department. Now his dad refuses to pay it. He's trying to negotiate with them so they lower the price and then he can, you know, close the bill or pay.
And here again, his dad refuses to pay it. I'm going to have to listen to the beginning again. Just to see, I think this person is over 18. What did this, you know, I'm not going to say this new generation because I know millennials that want to take care of their doggone selves and don't have no problem taking care of themselves. They don't want a nanny state. They don't want mommy and daddy to have them on their insurance till they're 160.
The bill. But this quote really broke my heart because this 19-year-old...
See, it broke her heart. And in 19, I was right, 19-year-old, a grown man. If the person commits a felony, they go to prison. Guess what? When the clock ticks over midnight in jail because this moron is, you know, ends up doing something wrong, if they do, you get credit for 1 day in jail, even if you've done 1 minute of that day. So, you know, sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it don't. Let's hear what she's going to cry about. Mrs. Fat Shaming, I am better than you. She's better than you. You know, so whatever this person is going to say right now, to me don't matter because she's coming from a place of, I am your moral superior, therefore I know better. Go ahead, you stinking.
Old student felt so bad and so guilty about his decision to go to the emergency room that he's literally offering to starve so he can help pay the bill. His father says he still feels very guilty right now. He told me he has 25 meals on his card for the semester, and maybe he could use those to get some money to pay for it.
I think you gotta be kidding me. Boo, hoo.
That breaks my heart. It really does.
That's the scene in the movie where I start crying.
Oh no. You know, how many of these people are they gonna, I don't even know who this is. How many of these people are they gonna bring on here? You know, if they want to have a gay person on there, why not get Scott Pressler on there or somebody that's got a brain? Scott Pressler would eat these people up like fudge. If you'll pardon the reference, he would eat it like a hot rod, if you know what I'm saying, man. You got to be kidding me.
Crying.
Yeah. So Look, I think that this story.
I'm sure that was profound. Let me back it up so that we can hear what this guy has to say.
Oh,
That breaks my heart. It really
that's the
does.
scene in the movie where I start crying.
Yeah. So, look, I think that this story highlights one of the biggest downfalls or one of the biggest flaws in the Affordable Care Act.
Sorry about that. I took a little break to eat some fresh farm eggs raised right here. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't had the experience of eating an egg that has just been laid, I mean, you've seen the chicken drop the egg. When you pick it up, the egg is still squishy a little bit, you know, because when they come out, they're not firm. They're rubbery, so they come out easier of the chicken. And you take that egg that you just seen laid and take it in and crack it and eat it. Oh man, I can tell the difference between a day-old egg or a minute-old egg, and you would be able to also. They're so delicious. So that said, I started this and I went in just about 20 seconds past where I'm at right now, but I forgot to plug my headphones in, so it was all echoey. I'm new to this XSplit thing. I get it figured out, and that is my problem. So let's let Mrs. Kasparian pick it up right about where she was, and then see what kind of, because I do know about 15, 20 seconds ahead here, see what kind of an apologist she is for this Affordable Care Act, this Insanity Care Act, and how she says that, oh, some people don't like it. She just makes a bunch. Let's listen.
Care Act. And I think one of the biggest reasons why so many people are, well, let me be clear, a lot of people are happy with it, but a lot of other people have criticized it, justifiably so. And the reason why is because it didn't focus enough on cost controls, and it also didn't focus on transparency. So you go to the doctor, and how often has this happened to you? It's happened to me several times. You go and they tell you you need various treatments or whatever it is, various tests, and so you feel like you have to do it because you want to make sure you're okay, so you go.
Well, don't you? And no, a lot of those tests are unnecessary, but you know, this is the problem with insurance. When you have all these different insurance companies and they want to get the money from it, how do you think it'll be, Miss Kasparian, when it's one and they're turning their check into the government? And the person getting all of these tests you're talking about has absolutely no personal responsibility to pay for any of them.
Go ahead and comply, you do the test, and then a month later you get a lab bill. And the lab bill is bananas. And
because lab work is expensive. Just like I mentioned about if you want this problem to stop, let me give you an idea. Stop subsidizing education. When Dr. Ron Paul was going to school, when he got out of school, he talks about going to work for a Catholic hospital, making $1.75 an hour. But he put himself through medical school with part-time jobs, and if I remember correctly, came out of medical school without any debt whatsoever. So what do we want? You know, as soon as they started subsidizing, look, you can, and correlation does not show causation, but you can track the rising cost of education with the government saying we will subsidize student loans, guarantee them for anyone, and you're going to get paid no matter what. They automatically, the price went skyrocketed, and nothing changed in the education. Let me just back her up here. I want to be fair, even to this maniac, this person that, you know, there was no way when my stuff breaks loose, which I never give up, I wouldn't hire this woman. I wouldn't let her. This is the only thing I would do, would be to give her a stage this way.
the test, and then a month later you get a lab bill, and the lab bill is bananas, and it freaks you out.
I
right?
have a lab bill right now that I thought I paid for at the office, and I got it in the mail. And
It's
what do I
insane.
do with
Paul,
this?
so you have a window. This is what's so frustrating about it, is you have a window before it goes to collections where you can dispute it. But once it goes to collections, you get the phone call. So right now you need to be calling your insurance provider, and then the problem with that is you have kind of an internal investigation situation within your insurance provider to find out like whether
I'll just
they're the ones who
pay
messed
it.
up.
I don't want to do.
Okay, how about this? Can I buy a car because a salesman talked me into it, and then later on keep the car but try to negotiate for not paying for it? This is quite insane. You don't have to do any tests, but if you don't and something happens, you sign an AMA against medical advice, And, you know, if you don't do it and you die, that the hospital, because of all the people out there just suing for the dumbest reasons, they got to protect their own butts. Who doesn't understand this? And look, this is what I mean, anecdotal evidence, and then these people throwing in stories that may or may not be true.
They can
all
blame your
this.
medical group. They can blame your primary care physician. That's the problem. That's the transparency, and there's no advocate. It's so frustrating, which is why you need to do it now.
Right.
Right now, you need to go find, if you have insurance, go call your medical group or whoever to find out in different situations where you should go for treatment. The downside of this is, you know, and what by that I mean your urgent care. If you have urgent care coverage, if you're on an HMO, call your medical group, and they'll tell you which place you can go. The problem is, like, I probably just
Well, the problem is if you have a single payer system, all of these things that you just mentioned are gone. What are you doing? I don't even know who this is. I thought it was going to be IDD Rolla, but instead they've got this other token, whatever he is, beta cuck. Yeah, I'd say beta cuck. In fact, let's call him BC for beta cuck.
just drop like 5 vocab words on you that you don't know because no one sits you down and tells you.
What? Because you're an idiot if you don't know any of the vocabulary words. These people are all about newspeak and doublethink. They can't even speak English.
Right.
How to use your insurance.
Right.
It's super frustrating.
I'm sitting
is.
next to you and I actively don't know how to use my insurance. And it's
so-
so intimidating.
Not only that, but
Oh my goodness. These people, who is this too? I don't know who this is. These people, they're somewhere. There is a grandfather in his grave or alive rolling over and farting loudly because these people are a shame on themselves and they are a shame on any family member. And this person is a shame on her entire race for her genocide denial.
if you do, there was a doctor in Georgia named Dr. Matthew Keaty who 11 years ago went in. He's a doctor, and he said, all right, for my baby that I'm going to have, we're going to go to a room that, you know, a hospital that covers me. And he got a giant bill after because 1 in 5 visits to the emergency room result in hidden costs.
Yes.
And the reason he got that is because most of the doctors involved in the procedure of childbirth were covered because they were employees of the hospital. But like the anesthesia.
Don't go there. This moron that nobody's talking about. My wife is the employee of a hospital. I drove truck at one time. We had 90/10 coverage that covered everything. I paid goose egg for it. Nothing. They gave me that insurance because I did the 3rd most dangerous job in the United States is truck driving. It's almost always deep sea fishermen, Bering Sea fishermen. I want to be specific about that. The Bering Sea fishermen, don't matter if it's crabs or cod or what, then loggers, then truck drivers. Truck drivers and loggers sometimes switch back and forth, but they're always the 3. Cop and soldier don't even show up on the top 10 list. Check it out if you think I'm joking. This person does not know what they're talking about. This person, as I am going to guess, never created a product, never done an honest service for anyone except for this, which is very dishonest. Let them continue.
Anesthesiologist was a freelancer who got hired for a short-term contract, and that isn't covered. And the doctors and the insurance companies and everybody's fighting, and none of us have.
Just to finish my point, my wife works for a hospital, and their insurance is horrible. They do not give you insurance. We pay, I'd have to ask her, but it's somewhere around $300 a month for insurance. And the Affordable Care Act, and we're at, I think, 2080. The Affordable Care Act, what we would get for the same price here in Ogreville would be, I believe it was 60-40. And that would mean that, you know, they pay 60%, I pay 40%, and it would be the same price as our 80-20 right now. So give me a break. The Affordable Care Act is just another way for the guys to say, oh, you like your plan? Keep your doctor. You like your plan? Keep your plan. Bull. They want it so that you do not have a choice. As an anarcho-capitalist, I believe in unlimited choices, 0 regulations. And you can, if you want a brothel in your backyard, as long as the community don't burn it down, mind you. But if you want a brothel in your backyard, you build it, you put a sign outside the front that says hookers and music, and you go to work.
Have any idea that that's going on, much less how to fix it.
Look, I think that one of the biggest issues that you see is, you know, medical institutions or specific doctors overcharging for the services that they provide. That absolutely happens. I don't know how many doctors are watching this right now and they're gonna dispute it. Maybe
You're an idiot. What about their being overcharged for their medical malpractice insurance? You freaking fuckwit. I can't think of a better word. You stupid, insane maniac. I'm glad my face has kind of covered hers right now, because this person is a horrible, terrible, lying piece of fat-shaming garbage who should have been fired, according to her, for the fat shaming that she did. Because really, according to her, you don't have anything else better, so you go right to the fat shaming. What a piece of work.
maybe you don't do it yourself, but I know it happens. Like the fact that you go in for an MRI, right? And the MRI, just that one MRI costs like $5,000. Not buying it, I don't believe for a second that one MRI is gonna cost $5,000.
She doesn't believe it because she's never bought an MRI machine or an open MRI that were invented because there are so many lard-ass Americans that can't fit into a regular one. She doesn't understand it because she has never had to pay for a magnetic resonance imaging machine, which cost, I want to say millions. I'd have to look it up. Hundreds of thousands at the very least. And then you have the upkeep on it and the team of people to run it, the team of people to read the images that come out of this thing. I've had MRIs. They're amazing. They're fascinating. And if you need one, it's worth $5,000. How much, Mrs. Kasparian, did you spend on your car? How much do you, Mrs. Kasparian, spend on your apartment? How much do you, Mrs. Kasparian, spend on the bull dunk clothes you're wearing right now? How much do you, Mrs. Kasparian, spend on the plastic surgery and the boobs and everything else that you've done? You are an idiot.
Look, again, a lot of good things came from the affordable.
That was their jump cut, not mine. But here she goes. I can already see, again, some very good things come from the Affordable Care Act. Lying, shill, piece of garbage. I know who you work for. Al Jazeera. I know who you work for. It's them. It's they. You are evil. We see through you.
Affordable Care Act, but you also have to criticize it where criticism is due. And this is one of the biggest issues with the Affordable Care Act and why so many people are frustrated with it. Unfortunately, I don't see this changing in a good direction after Republicans repeal the Affordable Care Act and then probably don't replace it. And if they do replace it, I mean, no one knows what they'd replace it with.
You know who?
Oh, with this beautiful image up here. I mean, look at this dude. Look at him. He looks like he's about ready to do something. Here, I got something for you, big guy. Let me just take it and put it right in. Like the English would do, right up there. Well, anyway, listen. Before you take drivel as fact, before you take, I've mentioned some correlations in here. Don't ever take a correlation as fact. When the sale of ice cream goes up in Ogreville, the amount of drowning soars right along with the sale of ice cream. You can follow the arcs. Does ice cream make human beings worse swimmers? No. When they're selling ice cream in Ogreville, the ice is off the lake. And even though some people fall through the ice and drown, that happens. And people drowned in the wintertime, even in their bathtubs. The amount of people drowning in the lake because they've had too much beer or not even any beer, and they've wrecked their jet ski, knocked out, drowned, fell out of the boat, you name it, soars. Don't just take correlation and call it causation. It's a faux pas that can get you into a lot of trouble. I'm going to pop up my page here. This is how I always end it. If you go to my page, you'll see I'm not going to change this right now either because I really have a lot of respect for the honey badger. And to be perfectly honest, I would like to be a part of their honey badger radio if I make the cut, fit the grade, whatever, fit the bill, make the grade, make the cut, whatever you want to call it. I would love to do some debates. I'd love to just show up on a live stream. So if you happen to be listening, Mrs. Badger, the other folks that she mentioned, of course, none of which are coming to mind right now, you know, hey, give me a shot. Swing by the channel, check it out. Feel free to look at any one of my videos. I've got right now something to the effect of, let's see, I have 72 subscribers, and I think I have a video for every last one of them. Yeah, I guess somewhere around 70-some videos. But you can see I deal with a wide range of subjects. You can easily tell by the titles, like Mo Better Blues. That's just me doing all 5 tracks on a blues song. I play the bass, I play the drums, I play the guitar, and I do the vocals and do the lead guitar over it. And then there, you know, like this one right here. We've been warned. My take on
The rant offered up today is not my intellectual property, but is an excerpt from the movie, The Network, 1976.
stuff like this.
So now, sit back, relax, and enjoy The Laughing Ogre.
There I am, man. That's kind of cool.
Edward George Ruddy died today. Edward George Ruddy was the chairman of the board of the Union Broadcast System, and he died this morning at 11 o'clock of a heart condition.
I just paused myself and stuff, tried to get a good spot. But this is just an example of, I do skits, and sometimes I'll act out parts of movies. There's one called Drink Your Milkshake. That's, of course, from There Will Be Blood. And I do another rant by Mr. Jensen from this same movie. So, you know, hey, check it out. But the political stuff will be very well labeled. I'm starting, in fact, I've already started the music channel, and I'm going to be switching my, you know, the theatrical things and the musical things to that side. So listen, check out the Prince of Queens. Check out the Hard Bastard. Check out the Britisher. Give the Tree of Logic a shot. Hey, swing by and see His Holy Majesty for a laugh. Go look at Count Dankula and get a good take on the news and a little comedy to go with it. You know, go check out the Honey Badger. And don't judge that sweet little package by just looking at her, because that's a very intelligent lady that has her poop in the proverbial group. Well, listen, make sure that you also take your time and swing by my channel. I don't really necessarily ever ask anybody to like what I do. It feels a little weird asking that. But what I will say is, take your time and comment. You know, like it, dislike it, don't really matter. But if you would subscribe and share, oh, you know, that would mean the world to me. And I have all this content on here, and I won't lie to you. I've done quite a lot of work. You can even see in fact, you can see all of the people that I subscribe to. Peach Bale, Count Dankula. I just signed up to the Honey Badger. I don't know why it's not coming up. Oh, is that it right there? There it is. Honey Badger Radio, Conscious Caracal. Of course, Logic. I actually unsubscribed to the Armored Skeptic, and you know, I don't care. I'm not an atheist, but when I go to get my skeptical stuff, you know, I'll stick with Vernaculus. I'll stick with Logic. Logic is great, man. Check out his rant. Okay, look, I'm getting long. I need to upload this. I'm gonna do one more video, and then I have a lot of work today. So I just want to remind you, after that you watch some of my vids and subscribe and share them with your friends and tell them how cool I am and everything else, be good to your friends and be good to your family. Be quick to say you're sorry, and be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, or your loved one has done seems to be so huge. Because remember, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and your cause will depart from you. Move, bitch, get out the way, bitch, get out the way and move, or just move. Oh no, lights out, I'm gonna punch your lights out. Get up, bitch, and guard your grill, there's something going on and I can't sit still. I've been drinking and busting too, I've been thinking of busting you upside your motherfucking head if your friends jump in. Oh girl, there'll be more dead and move, bitch. Get out the way, bitch.